All right. This is for you guys. All right. In case you ever run into it. All right. Again, we already covered photoelectric alarms and how we can beat those. Okay. Google Nest. We've got a cheat sheet around here somewhere. You know where it's at? You know, might be up there. All right, we bring one over here, please. All right. And I'll type this up and put it in our chat so you guys have it mobile on your phone. Okay. All right. All right. So Google Nest has a 7-year lifespan. All right. Each sensor has a 7-year lifespan. All right. So it's Google Nest Protect. That's the correct name of the sensors. All right. Their sensors average $120 per unit. All right. Their smoke detector. So they do the smoke CO combination. All right. They have a two-year limited warranty. Okay. 2-year limited warranty. What's our warranty? All right. Dual CO smoke, which means it's placed on the ceiling. All right. But we already know that the EPA tells you that CO detectors are best placed 5 feet, right? Okay. All right. So 6 AA batteries every 6 months, because how often do they tell you to replace batteries? Twice a year. All right.
Per sensor.
That's per sensor. All right.
And those just run, what is it, double A's?
The AA batteries.
So now you cheap out the double A batteries with the Amazon. Same ones.
All right. Same thing. You have to have Wi-Fi. All right. And they're only smoke detectors. So what's that mean? There's no smoke. There's no protection in kitchens, laundry rooms, garages, right? Attics, right? Right. So not only that, this is something that I looked up the other day. Okay. So when they are wirelessly connected, interconnected, right? So when one goes off, they all go off. How do you silence them? You have to go push the button and the one where the problem came from. I'll see if I should still have that manual saved in my history. I can screenshot that and send it to you guys. You have to go to where the problem's at to silence it. Thanks a lot, Google. Right?
Are they still ionization alarms or
They're photoelectric. Yep, they're photoelectric. All right. You have to clean them with a vacuum. Never works. Okay. Talks at 50 decibels. Okay, that's the talking voice on which we've already talked about how that's irrelevant. All right. There's no bed shaker, there's no water sensors. All right. So a Nest Protect, right? So if you bought 10 smoke detectors for your home, all right, $1,200, batteries. If you spend $65 on batteries every 6 months, right? Because you have to have 10, you have them for 10, right? That's an extra $130. All right. So that comes out to $1,300 or $1,330.84 for the alarms and batteries. So it's only 10 alarms. Now, if you have to replace them every 7 years, that's 21 years. Okay, so you're spending $4,000 over the course of 20 years to replace smoke sensors. That's it. $4,000 for smoke sensors. Okay, our 10 sensor package is $5,200. That comes with a lifetime warranty. That comes with heat sensors. That comes with water sensors. That comes with a bed shaker. Right? There's no monitoring fees.
you have to pay for all of it. You have to pay for anything that is not covered by their limited warranty, which they send a technician out. If they say, oh, hey, we can tell that you haven't been evacuated, then you get charged.
Yep. And not only that, you call Google. How long is it going to take for you to get their answer?
I don't think it's too long. I don't think you can physically call Google. Last time I needed to deal with them for like They have a
Wanna get
separate
ads?
thing for-
Okay, I was gonna say, good, I find both, part every time, just some.
So 45 minutes, okay? And my favorite thing to do is say, hey, here's the Google Nest Protect. Will you do me a favor? Will you go ahead and just give them a call for me real quick? Right? And then we're just sitting on hold and I'll sit there for 5-10 minutes. And then what I like to do is I say, all right, here, go ahead and call this number for me, please. And it's going to go straight to my phone. Right? So now, Charles, every time you have a problem or there's an issue with your network, I'm right here for you. All right. And it took me 30 seconds to answer your phone call. Right? That just solidifies that customer service, right? That's gonna make them understand that you're there for them, and that's what we're there for, right? ADT, okay? ADT is the easiest killer in the world, right? 79 bucks a month or whatever for monitoring. All right. They typically will only install a couple alarms in the home. Their installers have no idea where the hell smoke detectors go because they'll typically ask the customer where they want the smoke detector. All right. We don't ask the customer, we tell them where they go and why they go there. All right. Not only that, the moment that they cut off the monitoring for an ADT, that smoke alarm,
Oh, shit.
done. Okay, because it's powered into their fire alarm, it's powered into their security system. So the moment you kill that security system and it's no longer being used, that smoke detector is gone. Right? There's no more monitoring, right? And so there's only maybe one or two. Okay, so it's the way you approach these, but it's very easy to get someone to understand how bad ADT is, right? And everyone knows ADT is a security company. They're not a fire alarm company, right? They're a security company. Okay, so why put your money and trust into a company that bases their time on security, right? Simply Safe, right? Simply Safe's out there. They're the same thing. Smoke, or they're a security company that added smoke detectors. So it's the same exact thing. Okay, same thing as ADT, right? Just now, real quick, can I? Simple. Right. So the last time that we had a customer take off the fire protection from their ADT, it saved them $20. Okay, $20 a month. $20 a month for 12 months over the course of 20 years comes out to $5,037.60. So by them cutting out ADT and having our network for the duration of the 20 years, that's going to cover the cost of it. Right? Any questions on that? Any questions on competitors? Me too.
Take such an opportunity for you guys to, because they're coming in with less ADT, thinking that they're about that they know more, but we actually go to all this. Not the other option.
You're like, yeah, you still got that. But
Exactly. And when
that's like a step above that, but it's not that far. It's like a half step.
there you go.
I don't like paying every month for equipment that goes on the rest of your life. I'd rather just pay something off every month, what's done, guaranteed. You know, you do the math on that, 20 years with ADT at $80, that's $960 a year. You know, 20 years, that's almost 20 grand right there. That's a car.
It's a car. All right.
Twice.
Yep. I'll put the sheet up. Not only that, there's reviews on Amazon about Google Nest not working. The moment a family had a fire. There's 2 reviews. I'll share them. There's 2 separate reviews on Amazon where a family had Google Nest and it didn't work. That right there kills it.
So does Google Nest only work with Wi-Fi?
That is something I have to look into. I'm not sure. The app requires Wi-Fi. But I'm pretty sure the networks and all that still work without the Wi-Fi.
Say if it doesn't work without Wi-Fi, that's kind of redundant in the fire.
Do you have to pay for the app? So there you go. That's the other thing.
So everything that's where you've got to pay for it. Yeah, that includes monitoring,
Everything.
everything. Okay?
So there you go. All right. All right. Any questions on the fire code, fire prevention stuff that we just briefly covered?
You're gonna be posting the,
Yep, I'll post it. Like I said, I'm recording these. I'll put these on the YouTube channel and I'll start sharing our YouTube link in there as well. All right. Do we need a 5-minute break before we dive into the meeting? Stretch the legs?
yeah.
Yep. All right.
I started a small fire.
All right. Yeah, you guys, we're going to be gone about 5 minutes. All right. So when it comes to the safety meeting, okay. So now that we have a little bit better understanding of fire prevention, fire code, right? Like I said, those are all just tools for you guys to have in your toolbox. All right. It's to build up your expertise in case you ever need it, right? So the safety meetings, right? We're going to talk about some common mistakes that we all go through. All right. These are the same mistakes that I've made. That's why they're on here. All right. How to be a great safety advisor, warm up about our company, the first 3 misconceptions, the alarm research. We're going to cover everything about the network or everything about the demo in depth today. Okay. All right. So common mistakes. Okay. And this is something that Dino can speak on, that Jerry can speak on, that Jen can speak on because we heard it. All right. How many successful dealers or safety advisors did you hear go on stage that said, don't reinvent the wheel? Every single one. All right. Stick to the script. Okay. There's a reason why we teach things the way we teach them. Okay. And there's a reason why we tell you to do it because we know it works.
Honestly, my first month was really, it really ended set. And I sat down, Brandon, and he was like, what are you doing? Like, after I started doing my demo work, he stopped me and let me know I was doing, like, saying what's on the page. I don't have to say a lot else, and I started doing it better than saying what was on. And that's all that's needed. As soon as I started doing that, I literally that week, I think I had $1,000.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Read the book. Okay. It's that simple. Read the book. If you don't want to have to like stare at the book and read it as you're talking to customer, memorize it. Right. But how do you do that? You practice it. Okay. Are there going to be times where you have the book in front of you and you might stumble your words? Yeah, a little bit. That's just general conversation. You stumble your words just having a random conversation with people. It's going to happen. No one's going to think anything of you if you start fumbling around. All right. But stick to the script. I promise you, you'll run into a time and it happens to everybody. You get really, really good. All right. Let's say, Jerry had success out of the gate. Okay. Not everyone does that, and that's okay. Right. Like we've said, your success in this company isn't determined by your first weekend or your first month or your second month. Right. After 90 days, if you're still struggling a little bit, well, then maybe we need to reevaluate something, but typically you're not going to be. Right. It might take you a month to get good. Okay. Or to get fluent with it. There's a gentleman before he moved down south who worked with me when I first started. He was terrible his first 2.5 months. All right. Terrible. And then he had the best March of anybody, myself included. Right. It just something clicked for him and it worked. Right. But stick to the script. If you stick to the way we teach you how to do things, it's going to work for you. Promise you. Right. That's why we can bring literally anybody from any background into this business and they can sell because they stick to the script. You don't need sales experience. Okay. You don't need to know to be a master negotiator. Honestly, the more you know, the worse you're going to get. Right. Because then you're going to think you're smarter and you're better than it. Right. And then it becomes hard to turn that off and go back to sticking to the scripts. Right. All right. So we don't change things to make them easier. All right. We add change to make them better. All right. But changing something that already works doesn't make it better, right? So, and like with Jerry, and I'm going to utilize Jerry as an example because he told me I could, right? He came out of the gate. He had probably 3 weeks in a row where he sold 6 or 7 protections in a week. Okay. And then he hit a lull, right? He went 2 weeks and he went like 2 for 15, 16. Okay. Most of you guys would get into a negative mindset and you'd be like, man, what the heck is going on? And he came and he asked me, he's like, dude, what am I doing? I said, well, are you doing your demo? Or are you trying to sell people? Just trying to sell people. Okay. You can't walk into someone's home and just sell them a $6,000 network and they're going to want to buy it. Right. It's not going to happen. Promise you. All right. So what he started doing is he just wanted to do his demo as quick as possible and he wanted to try and make a sale and he wanted to get out of there. Right. And it's not that he quit wanting to do his demo. It's that he thought because of the knowledge that he had gained that he could eliminate stuff and then he could overcome their objections. It's not how it works. Overcome the objections are designed and created for when you do the demo the way you're supposed to, and then you can overcome it, right? It's not there for taking shortcuts and then trying to overcome their objections because it's not going to work. Okay. How much does a Lamborghini cost? Okay. 6, 7 figures. What happened? How much does an ignition switch cost? Any car guys in here? Ignition switch. Just in general, maybe a couple thousand. Okay. You take $1,000 part out of a 6-figure vehicle and it doesn't work. Okay. Something that small. All right. So something that small, if you take it out of our demo, guess what could happen? Couldn't work. You don't know what it's going to be in our demo that's going to make the people want the network. Do you? Some people might want the network because of the fire blanket that you showed them. So now what happens if you skip that? Right.
Really, like, look at, when you're practicing demo at home, look at it from, family's point of view that you're seeing, right? Every question in there and everything that's said in there is said in question. Keep them engaged, get their mind going, they're making them think about whatever you're going to say. So,
And that's something that you guys will learn. But like we said, right? Practice it. Right? If you're not practicing this at home in your free time, how are you going to get any better? Right? You can risk trying to get better in front of families, but is that something you want to risk? Because that's where you're going to make your money. Right? Do professional athletes skip practice and just show up for the game? Iverson did. Iverson's a whole nother animal though, right? And you'll never see another Iverson, right? You will never see another 5'9", 5'10" dude who leads a team to the finals himself, right? Well, that's my point, right? So when you guys played sports growing up and you guys did things, for those of you with military experience, okay, we don't just sit on our ass and then just show up to war and kick ass, right? How much training did you do? Thousands of hours. And it's a beautiful thing to see, because for those of you guys who don't have the military experience, it's a beautiful thing to see when you can see how proficient our military is when you see other nations' military, right? Because our guys are putting in countless hours in training nonstop, and then they go up against other countries, even our allies, and you see them perform next to them, and it's just like, it's like watching a varsity basketball team versus a 3rd grade basketball team. And right, like right, like they're laughing because they know. But so it's the same thing, right? So if you guys want to know why there's Jerry's, right, and why there's Dino's, and why there's safety advisors who can do 200-300 net units, okay, it's because they're practicing. They're trying to find whatever they can do to perfect their craft, right? And they're not taking shortcuts. All right. And when I talk about adding stuff, okay, right, I've been fortunate with my years of training and experience that I have a good understanding of code and all this other stuff that most people don't have. I've hit a streak as a safety advisor where I went like 0 for 8. Okay. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? Right? Because there's no way, right? Because I was closing 60, 70%. Right? There's no way this doesn't happen to me. Right? Well, it happens, and then you just start reevaluating your past demos. What am I doing that I can't close? Well, I'm talking too much. I'm telling them way too much more information than what they need to know. I just need to keep it simple, right? It's to keep it simple. Okay. Do you care about code? Realistically? Not right. Not I mean, from your position now, yeah, it's a little more pertinent, but right, the average person doesn't care about code. They probably don't really care what's out there, but then the moment you start feeding them all this, that's what they start thinking about, right? Information overload. Okay, we want to keep it simple, and that's what the book does. It keeps it simple. Okay. The stuff that we teach you is just for tools, like I said, tools for you guys to have in your toolbox in case you ever need them. Right. Right. Like think about your sheds right now. How often do you guys use shovels or rakes?
Shovels every couple hours, I got a dog, so.
Dog.
It's
All right. So once or twice a week though, but it's something that's there every day, right? They're tools for you to utilize when you need them. Okay. So that's the same thing with this information. You use it when you need it. You don't need to use it every day. Right. Lack confidence and enthusiasm. Okay. This is anything. All right. If you're not enthusiastic and you're not excited for them and you're just like a lull, how engaged are they going to be in your demo? You got to find a way to pick it up and find some spunk, right? Dino knows, right? I'm not an outgoing individual. I'm not a person who wants to go out and do all this stuff. All right. But I will find an extra way to get some energy and some enthusiasm when I'm in a person's home, right? Because that's the performance, right? That's what you put all your marbles in when you're in that person's home. That's your performance. Okay. Confidence, right? Everyone will struggle with confidence when they first start because of something brand new. They're unfamiliar with it. All right. But you need to go in there with confidence like you've been doing this for 1,000 years. Okay. Even if you haven't, or even if you don't know what you're doing, you need to have confidence with it. Right. You agree with objections. Okay. There's a difference between agreeing with a customer and agreeing with objections. If a customer tells you they can't afford it and you agree with them, you just told that person that they can't afford something. Even if you can't afford something, how would you feel if someone told you couldn't afford it? Right? So that's what I'm talking about, right? When customers say they need to think about it and you say, yeah, okay, go ahead and think about it. Give me a call later. We've all done it. All right. I watched a safety advisor recently last week. It was a sale because the customer wanted it. This wasn't not yours. And the safety advisor literally looked right at the customer when I was on the phone with them and said, do you guys want to go ahead and just think about it and call me back, or should we upgrade to the Omnishield network? And this was the best safety advisor in the office. Right. So we all do it. And he called me afterwards and I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, oh, they're great people. They'll call me back. They didn't call him back. People don't call you guys back, right? And it's one of those things where they might, but they probably not. Probably not. It doesn't matter how good of a person you are, how nice you are, how much they love you. People get busy, and it becomes in the back of their mind, right? Right. Our network is affordable for anyone's budget. Okay. And then let's put something in perspective for you. How much do you pay for that monster? About $3.49. How many of those do you drink a week?
Probably about 5.
5. That's $15 a week. Okay. That's $60 a month. Right.
Well, what do you do as customers say they want to think about it?
Yep, we'll cover all those in a bit. Good question though. All right. So that's my point. All right. Something as simple as what we like to indulge in every day. All right. Because it's what we like to have. All right. Dino's over there licking his lips at the Cheeseman cookies. All right. All right. Perspective. It's all about perspective. Okay. $15 a week for caffeine. That's okay. That's what we want, right? can very easily afford OmniShield for $60 a month, right? It's just about perspectives. All right, forgetting to prospect. All right, build your pipeline. Okay, no prospects equals no appointments. Corey, can I use you for an example?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Corey's brand new with this. Okay. I've been putting little nuggets in his head for a long time now. He's been in my guard unit. All right, and I knew he could be successful doing this. He's got the personality for it. All right. Corey, right now, our game plan changed a little bit. He was going to start in Ohio because that's where he's from. He could build a big pipeline, and we had a ton of leads in Ohio. His girlfriend lives in Pennsylvania, and he was like, man, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to spend the time doing it. I want to build it in Pennsylvania. All right, and I said, well, just be aware. We've got like 10 names in Pennsylvania, right? So the likelihood of someone and those 10 people from Pennsylvania calling us or answering our phone, getting you an appointment, playing with fire there, right? So Corey's going to see it from the ground up, and I love that he's going to see this opportunity, and it's also for you guys to be able to see it, right? If Corey forgets the prospect, does he have any prospects out in Pennsylvania? Nope. So if he doesn't do a SurveyMonkey, if he doesn't get the referrals, he doesn't have anybody. We don't have an office in Pennsylvania, so he's building this from the ground up himself. But how is he going about it? He's making sure he gets a SurveyMonkey. He's making sure that he's getting the referrals. He's talking with the HOA people. He got that idea from you, right? He's networking, okay? He's gotten himself into a vendor show at the end of the month, right? But if you don't get those prospects from your appointments, you're not going to have anybody to see, okay? And you could be the greatest closer in the world. If you don't get prospects, you don't want to close, right? We don't call in, okay? Always call in. All right. Just because a family gives you an objection doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I just need to hear the way they're saying it, or Katie or Jake need to hear the way they're saying it, right? And then we'll coach you through it. Again, I'm not someone who's gonna phone close a customer for you. I'm gonna teach you how to do it, and I'll speak through you. Okay. Adam, who had to step away for family issues, Corey knows too, because I've done it for Corey. All right. I just need to hear what that person's saying to you. Okay, because I can tell you then what to say and how to say it. Right. Corey, what happened with Matthew Blom?
We called him. We were talking about numbers and stuff like that, and you said, he wanted the protection, and you said, yeah, we can get it down to, I don't know, it was like 65, and you're like, say 65, and then say thank you, welcome to OmniShield family, and put your hand out and shake, and it worked right away.
Right. That's all you got to do. If someone's saying they're wanting it or they're on the fence, or they just need to get you a price, and all of you guys are really good at getting us a price. Now, when we give you that price, just take the initiative and say, welcome to the OmniShield family. They've already told you what price they want or what's in their budget. Right. And we've all done it. I've done it too. Okay. And that's why we're having these conversations. All of these right here are literally things that I've done. All right. They're things that Jake Engelbrandt has done, that Jake Maloney has done, that Scott Long has done. And I name them because they're all dealers who came from this organization. All right. They all started in this office with me and they became dealers. Okay. These are all mistakes that we have made. All right. All right. If you leave the family's home before you call in, there's nothing that we can do to help you. All right. And the more that you guys develop, if you guys choose to pursue wanting and own an office and you start building a team underneath you and you take their closing calls, nothing, I promise you, nothing is going to make you more irritated than when a safety advisor is already in their car and they're calling you. Promise you. Because they're there to make money and you're there to help them. How do you help somebody if they take themselves out of the situation?